Again, thank you very much for being here. We are blessed to have finished this wonderful project and to have the good Lord give us some sunshine after rain this morning. I know a lot of us up here were asking for that kind of help and thanking you in advance, and we got it, and we're happy to have so. So before we get started, and we'll start in just a second, my pastor, Larry Wood from St. Andrew, I've asked him if he'd say a blessing with us, an invocation, kind of get us started. Thank you.
Friends, may we bow together. Our gracious God, you have blessed us with some of your finest handiwork. You have given to Gulf Shores beauty and community. You have furnished us with a wonderful bright beach and also with such good people who have come together to be custodians of your care. We pray that you will help us to be good stewards of this place. And we ask you also to bless this place with your protecting hand, that those who enjoy this spot will do so in safety. And may we also always know that you are the one who has provided us such gifts. And we ask these things as brothers and sisters in your name. Amen.
I think I'll turn this off. That was probably one of the other news stations wanting an interview, so if they're not here, they don't get one. The agenda for today, we're going to do a few things here. Obviously, this is a city council decision, not a mayor decision, and not a mayor pro tem or a finance committee decision. And Gary Sinek, one of our councilmen, is here. Steve Jones, I don't know if he made it or not. Steve, I think, is on a trip to Asheville with the chamber doing research, and Joe Garris was tied up and couldn't be here. So that five-person council is the one that made the decision of the importance of this project. And so today I'm going to ask our Mayor Pro Tem, Philip Harris, to give us a little background of how we got here, starting with years back, and vision that we had for this area. And he'll be followed by Jason Dykin, who is our finance chairman, who will talk about return on investment strategies, why this is important. Then I'm going to talk about the project and, most importantly, the partners that we had to make this happen. So, Philip.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome everybody. What a great place we are standing in today. I just want to take a minute and go back and kind of refresh ourselves on where this vision started and how we've kind of evolved to where we are. And, you know, this whole process started after the devastation of Hurricane Ivan and Hurricane Katrina and what those storms did to our beach area. And the silver lining there was what we found to be an opportunity to really come in here and recreate and revitalize a beach district that had way more potential and opportunity than we were utilizing it for. So that started an Envision Gulf Shores process, which several hundred residences got involved in that. We had planning charrettes here. We had town meetings. Just a great involvement from the community that helped plan and envision this entire district. And over the years, that plan has been tweaked and modified and improved on. But also over the years, we've run into some obstacles that have probably delayed this plan. And we all know what those were. And the turndown economy of '08 and some spill of 2010. And so we've had some slowdowns here, but we never lost sight of the vision, and we never lost sight of the value that this space could create and the opportunities that we had here. And so in 2014, the council, with also a lot of input from the community, adopted a 2025 vision plan, which basically had 5 goals, 5 criteria in that plan. Revitalizing this beach district was one of those. In the plan, when we adopted it, committed ourselves to prioritizing those 5 goals and committed resources and financial resources to make those 5 goals happen. And there were 10 core values in that. I won't take just a minute because I think it's really important we don't lose sight of the values that we base that 2025 plan on. And quickly, they were to protect and enhance the quality of life for residents and visitors and retirees, to protect and preserve our unique natural resources, to honor the family-centric and safety-oriented tradition of Gulf Shores, maintain a relaxed, no-hassle environment, support a clear culture of Southern hospitality, enhance a sense of place, embed sustainability into the fabric of this community, promote economic prosperity and a business-friendly atmosphere, boost competition in the marketplace, unaccepting the status quo, and to commit to excellence and the highest quality of standards. And I look at this place and what we've done, and those 10 core values are embedded in this project and are part of this project. And I think that makes that really special. We've got a unique space here that's unparalleled anywhere on the Gulf Coast. And I truly believe this to be the catalyst that will promote new business development and really inspire the rest of the vision for this walking district, to give us the shops and the restaurants and the nightlife and all we envisioned. That sense of place is here, and it's here now. But, you know, really, y'all are the ones that need to be applauded. We enacted the plan and we voted to spend the money, but you were the folks that got involved. You showed up at meetings, you showed up at the charrettes, you emailed us input, you came to town meetings, and this is really your plan that we have executed. And so today, I congratulate you. This is your beach, your place, and I hope y'all are as proud of this space as we are. Thank you. Jason?
Thanks, Philip. What a great place this is, huh? What do y'all think? You know, when we started this process, we wanted to be sure that we really protected the asset that we have here, and that's the beach. And that is protected for not only the citizens of Gulf Shores and the Orange Beach, but of Baldwin County, of the state of Alabama, the Southeast region, and the whole country. And I think this project has really showcased what we have to offer here in South Alabama and in Gulf Shores. So it's not often that the mayor and the mayor pro tem actually give way and give me a chance to talk at the mic. So as chairman of the finance committee, I've got to throw in some financial perspective here. And when we thought about this project, as well as all the projects in our community, we think about how we can be great stewards of the money that you entrust your municipal government with. And not only do we want to make sure that we have high quality projects that we invest in, but that these projects will be something you'll be proud of and want to use as someone who lives here. But there's also a component from the finance committee standpoint, is that we want to make sure that we get a return on our investment. We want to be good stewards of the dollars and make sure that those dollars create future revenue to this city so we can continue to grow in a family-friendly way. And so when we looked at this investment, we wanted to make sure that we were going to get a return on investment. And I believe with this open space and everything that we've created out here, it's just going to be a new city central area here at the beach. We already know that over here on the 2-acre site that the city invested in years ago, we have a full-service hotel coming. We should have an announcement probably in the next couple of weeks, and it's just going to be a jewel here on the coast. We also have, other partners that are really helping develop this area, and I think we're already seeing the return on investment. Shaul Zislin at the Hangout and his team have done a wonderful job in repainting and remodeling the Hangout. They've also torn down that very old and ugly ABC building that was on 59 and now have created a bright and shiny diner. There's plans to redevelop the green building to our east here into new retail space and mixed residential. And there's even plans for a possible parking deck and other retail establishments in this area. So for those partners, the developer of the full-service hotel and Charles Island and other developers here in our community, we have the opportunity to really create a downtown central area that can be really used and provide return on investment in the way that we get economic diversity here in our community and really get a return on the investable dollars that we've put into this project. So we're always aware of that and want to make you proud, and I think this project has done it. So with that, I'll turn it back to Mayor Kraft. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You see the leadership that did not just the mayor. This is the power group behind and the rest of the council worked so closely with. And I'd be remiss if I went any further without mentioning one person, one special person that was part of the beginning of this discussion. Miss Carolyn Doty, former council person and former mayor pro tem and great lady, is here, and she's a part of all this, and she continues to motivate us to not lose sight of the promises we've made. So Carolyn, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you've done. So this project, just real briefly, it's the first major redo that we've had of this area in well over 50 years. More than that. I've lived here my whole life, and I cannot recall it looking any different than it did 6-8 months ago before we started this project. So it's time for a redo, and we're delighted to have done this and do this way. Our main focus was improved access to the beach. And again, as much as we are aware of on economic return on investment, we're also very much aware that our citizens need a safe and friendly place to go to the beach, something very comfortable. And this was designed for us that live here to bring our families down here and to have a place that doesn't have through traffic going through the middle of the parking lot and has that public safety investment that is much better. What we've done as part of this project is the improvements of the medians on Beach Highway so that there's not as many unregulated left-hand turns crossing 5 lanes of traffic that's dangerous, but also for pedestrians that don't use crosswalks, and a lot of them don't. There's safe landing areas where they do not have to cross 5 lanes. So there's a public safety aspect to this that was deeply important to all of us. The environmental portion that has been mentioned, protecting this environment. I mean, everything that we've done here has been focused on making sure it was environmentally sustainable. It was protective of all the endangered species and habitat. And we've got a mouse and we've got turtles that we are going to protect. That's our responsibility, and we're going to do that. And we're also protecting the birds and everything here. So the environmental aspect of this is overwhelming to us. That's the one thing I know that I learned during the oil spill. If we don't have an environment, we don't have anything. And so that is the focus of this too. So environmental control of that. You will look behind us, we've got this blue handicap access ramp that we're really proud of. And if you haven't, it's for handicap access to get in wheelchairs or strollers, to get people to the beach that couldn't get there before. There's nothing more heartwarming than to come down here and watch that. And that will be a permanent part of what we do in this area. We've got another one going in on the other side of the hangout down at the last beach pavilion there by the shade pavilion there just before you get to the Pink Pony. That will be a permanent fixture in Gulf Shores. It is, again, a way for us to invite everybody to come to our beaches and enjoy the great things that Mother Nature have given us. And that was really, really proud of that. We've got a third phase that will be starting after the season in 2018, and that's on the other side of the Phoenix All Suites and the Pink Pony Pub. And what we will be building there is a similar structure to we have here. This big building you see to my left is a public safety building that was originally conceived as having fire and police presence. But when the fire department took over the lifeguards, we recognized that we needed a place for the lifeguards' dressing rooms, and so we moved the lifeguards in there and moved the police out. And that's not where we need to be. So we've got, in the third phase, we're building a police headquarters on the beach, as well as more restrooms, and the boardwalk will continue between the Phoenix All Suites and the pub all the way to the end of our property, and we will have there an additional 120 parking places. So when we finish that, we will have all of the parking that we had replaced. So all the parking is not in place today. So this season, you're going to have to scramble to find your parking place. But we're on our way to get all of those back, and we'll make that happen. So that's an overview of the project. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we don't do anything like this without having a really significant presence of help. And we had several important people involved, and I'm absolutely determined that they need to be recognized because they gave everything. We had 2 from the city and 1 that was inspector. He wasn't an inspector, he was an observer. It was here every day. He worked for Volkert. And so I'm going to ask Dan Bond, Noel Hand, and Rick Perez to walk up here and stand by me for just a minute. Because these guys are here every day, and they drove the bus. And so thank you, guys. And this is our non-inspector observer. And I think he was afraid if I called him inspector, he'd have some liability. And I told him, no, he doesn't have that. But he works for Volkert, and Volkert's been a part of this from an engineering and design standpoint, along with Brian Bays, who is here, the architect that's here. I'm going to get to him in just a minute. But these 3 guys were go-to guys for all of us that were in charge of this project. You show up every day. They're here when you get here. They're here when everybody else leaves. And their family had to sacrifice. And so I thank you, and I thank your families. Appreciate it. Mark Ackerman. Mark Ackerman's here. Mark's the head of Public Works, and Noel Hand works for Mark, and he was under Mark, and Mark gave him the guidance and the ability to be here every day. So, Mark, thank you, too. I appreciate it. Brian Bays and Kristen Lesprance, where are you? Where's Brian and Kristen? Walk up here. These are the architects that designed every bit of this. They conceived the project. They designed the architecture. The green lawn, these were all their ideas after listening to the input that we'd received from the citizens. So these, if you like what you see, this is the ones that did it. And the architecture that you see is really unique and significant. And one thing that I can tell you that has really made a difference is Shaul saw it, liked it, and repainted the hangout. If y'all know Shaul, you know that was a feat in itself. And he is tearing down, as was mentioned, the green building, the green surf style behind it, and he's building it back with retail on the bottom floor and some level of rental units there available for the community also. And his design is using the same style that we've got here. So we will have a consistent look of the architecture throughout. And thanks to these folks and their envisioning of this. And again, let's give them another round of applause because that's important stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it. We got one other, is Andy James here? Andy works for Volkert. He was the engineer on the project, and I thought he was here. He was here a lot during the time. Ken Gates with Gates Construction. Ken? Where's Ken? I know Ken. There he is. Welcome up here, Ken. Ken was the contractor on phase 1 that's been complete for about a year. And so everything you see back this way was phase 1, and Ken was the contractor involved with that. Again, designed by Brian Bays and his group. But Ken did a great job. Ken, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
The general contractor down here was Cunningham and Delaney, and I think we got a large group of their guys here, and I want you all to come up here. Jacob Cunningham, I think, is here somewhere. Rick Dees is here, I believe. And I can't introduce all of them, but these are the guys that, from a construction standpoint, were the general contractors, and all the others that will fall under them, we'll mention more to come, but they manage this whole thing. And they're, again, a team like this, you can't just be committed to, we're gonna do the deal. We're going to do what we say in our contract. You got to be committed to the project, and we're going to do whatever it takes to be successful and be on time. And these guys did it, along with everybody else I've talked about. Everybody here has thrown their weight behind this project, and they made a commitment, not just a commitment of money and resources, but their own personal time. And here on Sundays and on whatever it takes. They had that whatever it takes attitude, and that's the kind of partners you want in a deal like this. And I will guarantee you we will use them again and recommend them highly to anybody that wants the project done and done right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I've mentioned some of our public works staff, and if you work for the city, if you're here and you work for the city in any capacity, raise your hand. I think you will, because if you work for the city, you may not have worked on this project, but you had to keep the city running so the others could work on this project. So it's not just that the ones that work down here need credit. This team that we have at the city, every one of them put their back behind keeping the city running so this could happen. There's one other contractor that I see. Well, it's two other. Is Jamie Kent here? Jamie, walk up here. And David Wilson. I got to recognize David fellow mayor, former mayor, David Wilson's a masonry contractor, did all the brickwork, and then Jamie is the landscaper who laid all this sod and planted all these trees. So again, here are when we needed them, how we needed them, and committed to this project. And again, this team is amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. You're welcome. Rick and Nick Green from Green Electric. Nick's here. Is Rick here? Nick Green, Green Electric, all the lighting and all the electrical. Thank you, buddy. All the electrical. This is another one of the team that sacrificed everything and everybody else did. And again, you don't do things like this. Thank you, buddy. You don't do things like this without putting a team together. And none of us could have done that. The city couldn't do it. And Cunningham Delaney couldn't have done it. They would not have the subs and didn't have the proper help. Volkert, as good as they've been. Brian Bays, as good as they are. None of them could have done this by themselves. And we certainly couldn't have. So we're here to recognize the project and the partners that we have, and we're really proud of what this means for the city. And I think Philip summed it up really well, and Jason both. Jason's not as good as Philip, but he's pretty good. He's a lot more. Steve Jones made it. Steve's been in Asheville. Welcome back. That's our other councilman. I think Joe Garris. Joe runs a charter fishing. I don't believe in this when he's fishing, but he may be because the fish are biting. Joe's fishing, and but again, that's our internal team here. So, and it kind of in real quick summary. This is an important emotional thing for me. Having been the mayor and have the privilege to be your mayor and having the privilege to have served here through a lot of different circumstances and having you stand by me through issues that I've had and through health issues I've had and being supporting of me and be able to do a project like this in my home for my friends and my family, it gives me chill bumps and it gives me great pride to have had the opportunity to be the mayor when this happened. And I love every one of you and I love this place and thank you for being here and enjoy your time. Make yourself at home, roam around and check everything out. Thank you for being here. You're dismissed.